Saveara and Aldrich left the ruins of Grendel with a group of 200 zombified orcs trailing behind them at their command. The sun bore down hard on them and the charcoal-black skin of the zombies began to dry out and stretch on their flesh. Saveara and Aldrich were catching up through the stroll in the sun. "So you saw a guy explode a woman with a single touch and you thought he would be a good teacher?" Aldrich asked. "He did prove to be a good teacher, or at least I gathered immense knowledge from him. Besides, do you really feel bad for Ophelia? I doubt I'm the only one she abused. Oh, don't misunderstand me. If I saw her pick you up by your horns, throw you down the stairs and lock you in a dark moldy basement, with no intention of feeding you, I would have killed her myself. I'm just stunned you would surround yourself with morally bankrupt individuals, especially ones that could kill you in an instant. Fortune favors the bold, Aldrich. Besides, do you think that Fornius gave me a choice? Fair enough." A crow came from the sky and landed on Saveara's shoulder. He hopped to her ear and whispered something in her ear. She shook her head, patted the crow and smooched him on the cheek before he flew off. "Care to share with the class?" "The orcs are marching towards Zepho," Saveara answered. "Oh really?" "Yeah. A battalion of 1,000 orcs is going to raid the town like we're back in the Dark Ages, and we are going back to the town." "You're going to be a hero?" "Don't misunderstand me. My main motive is getting more undead troops. Orcs are amazing physical brutes. Their muscle fibers are so dense regular bullets and blades will barely hurt. They will be amazing shock troops and a great start for my undead army." She pulled out her arcane diamond and funneled her soul energy into it. As she charged it with her diamond, she spoke the incantation, Santimus. A black and violent portal opened which led to her subspace. "You lot go in, you will be beckoned later," she commanded of her thralls, which complied and walked into the tear. "You can make domains as well," Aldrich said. She stopped charging her diamond as it reached 100% and turned to Aldrich. "I'm not done. Come here." Saveara clasped her hands on the behemoth's face and spoke, Valius. A shimmer of rainbow washed over Aldrich. His deathly white skin was veiled in a tan complexion, his crumbled and cracked armor cloaked in pristine gray stone and moss. His dry white hair covered in full black hair, and his deathly odor was replaced with the scent of emerald soap residue. "There you go. Now you can pass as one of their Templars so they won't try to kill you." Aldrich felt the illusory veil and felt nothing that covered him. Underneath he was the same. "You've grown so much." "I know, Aldrich. Now come on, we have more power to gain." As the pair walked through the sand, she felt a soft ping in her head and grinned. She only knew one person who could conduct telepathy in a way that felt like a gentle pat on the head. "Saveara, you there?" "Oh my god, Neo sweetie, how are you, baby?" Saveara began twirling her silky white hair as she thought of Neo. "Yep, that's you. I'm doing fine, missing you though." "I miss you too with the adventure I'm having over here. It's great to hear your voice in my head." "Really, what's happening?" "Well, I met 3 druids as well as an undead of mine that I thought died, Aldrich. The first one you ever made and 3 druids." "Oh no." "Yeah, it went how you'd expect it. I got submerged in a water sphere and electrocuted with a lightning bolt, but I got her back with a devastating gut punch and a shitload of my venom. I'd question your claim of surviving such an ordeal, but you've been through worse, a lot worse." "Of course, with a contingency and a physical augmentation spell I could survive that. So after we killed some worm-looking Tihom, the druid I stung was succumbing to my venom, so I used my miracle and now the charges are dropped. People of Taurus's faith are honor-bound, straight-laced and extremely stubborn. Do you really expect them to honor a deal they made with a necromancer?" "Usually no, but he used the esoteric oath to Taurus. If he breaks his word, Taurus will have words with him and his subordinates. I guess you can trust that." "Yeah, and I..." Saveara heard lightning bolts, screaming, the clashing of blades and crunching of bone. She knew she was close. "Baby, I'm about to get another battle. We'll pick this up later." "Okay, Saveara." As she hung up the telepathic call, she noticed a spear blade inches away from her eye, but Aldrich caught it swiftly. The force made his hand vibrate and the illusion fizzle, but it still stood. She looked to the walls of Zepho and saw way more than the original 200 she thought. An emotion filled her heart. Not fear but anger, that she could be so close to death in an instant, all because she was distracted. She glared at the battalion and held her hand out to Aldrich, asking for the spear. "Thanks, Aldrich." He dropped the heavy stone spear in her hand, and she aimed at the biggest orc and tossed it with tremendous strength. It surged through the desert wind and went through the orc's chest. The blade poked out the sternum, its heart beat on the blade, as well as a strange green worm that fell off the blade and shriveled in the sand. The orc fell to his knees, and on the sand dead, a white mote of light left his body and wandered into Saveara's pendant. The 1,000 orcs saw their leader dead, but it didn't deter them as they fought with more fervor. Stone-shooting turrets mowed down the orcs like a sickle tilling a field of wheat. Flaming arrows and lightning bolts held the line against the invaders. The turrets ran out of stone ammunition, and Saveara ran into the crowd and leaped off the orcs' backs to deliver shotgun slugs to their skulls and doses of her necrotoxin. By the time she was out of ammo, 12 orcs had their skulls shattered and 5 were envenomed. Aldrich cut through many with his sword and the orcs' spears. Their strength didn't mean much to the Risen that gorged himself on their kind. Galliarin prepared her magic in her hands and said, "Is she really here again? Fight now, complain later, Galliarin. Get that wind spell ready." Dylar commanded. Saveara pulled out her burial blades, a pair of twin commas that originally belonged to her father. Now it would continue to cut down the wicked in the hands of his daughter. She connected the dual commas to form a single large scythe. Her soul energy activated the death ether and gave her scythe's blade a baleful purple glow. Her soul energy reserves were reduced to 70%. A slight drain went through her muscles. Her physical augmentation spell had little time left before she went out. "Aldrich, in 30 seconds assist," she commanded as she began swinging her necrotic blade. Like a savage demon from the depths of the nether, she cut through the orcs' bodies. Her baleful scythe sliced through their flesh like a hot knife through butter. Limbs and heads flew in the air as they were cleanly cut from the vessel. As 30 seconds passed, she fell to her knees. Her muscles suddenly failed in a crimson pile of 45 orcs. While the druids on the walls were mesmerized by the sharp violet and crimson cyclone, another orc tried to cleave into her neck but was met with a spear to the throat from Aldrich. He ran to her, took the orc's great axe and swung it into another orc's chest. "How long will you be on your knees?" Aldrich asked as he sucked the essence from an orc in his hands. "A minute tops. I heal quickly." Aldrich rolled his eyes and said, "Let's get you up now." He held up his hand to the horde of orcs running his way and siphoned their soul energy as streams of green left their crumbling bodies and flowed to Saveara, using Aldrich as a conduit. She sprung up to her feet and felt a surge of energy running through her from the sweet sensation of the soul's nectar. Before she could move, she noticed the wind kick up and converge behind the remaining orcs. It got stronger and stronger. Sand and severed orc parts were sucked into the whirlwind. The whirlwind grew larger and stronger. Saveara and Aldrich anchored themselves in the ground while the remaining orcs were taken up into the crimson sand cyclone. Saveara looked behind her to find Galliarin whirling her hands as she conjured the tornado. Dylar and Juries added blue lightning bolts to the cyclone, engulfing it in a bright blue glow once it stopped. All that remained was a column of fresh, glistening blue fulgurite encasing the remaining orcs. The 3 druids fell to their knees as their energy depleted, as white motes ventured into Saveara's pocket. "I would say you shouldn't have come back, but if you didn't step in to give us time, they'd be beyond the walls by now, so thanks," Dylar said as he landed on the sand. "Well, you druids proved to be stronger than I thought. I can't make a tornado, at least not yet." Dylar looked past Saveara and surmised that the human-looking knight is an illusion. "I can't make illusions. You even removed the smell of rot. What do you want?" Saveara swung her arm back, her thumb pointed at the fulgurite monolith. "The bodies of the orcs," she answered. "Do I want to know why?" "You clearly know why." Dylar sighed and shook his head. "Fine, we can't have this glass in the way of the roads anyway. Just don't raise them in front of everyone." "I understand. I'll shatter the glass and place the bodies in my subspace." Saveara smashed the fulgurite monolith with her fist, and as it shattered, the bodies fell into the sand, and as she spoke the incantation, Santimus, her subspace entrance opened and her thrall's hands emerged and dragged the bodies inside, like a vacuum cleaner sucking up dust. "Is that all you're here for, some undead thralls?" "It's on the list but not my main objective." "You mind telling me your main goal then?" "I do mind. Your town of pickpockets is safe, and that should be the only thing you care to think about." She turned around but Dylar grabbed her shoulder and said, Please ma'am, this orc business needs to stop, and if you're hunting them, you could be a great asset to the cause. Saveara turned partially back and glared at Dyler's hand. He saw the quickly building rage and her stinger begin to shake like a rattlesnake, and he quickly let go of her. She sighed, "Look, I don't want to make you all feel uncomfortable with my thralls and their rot. Besides, what's going to happen? I go back to your town and get pickpocketed or worse locked away? I simply don't trust you. I understand you can't trust my words, but how about a binding vow in front of our gods? Like we did in Grendel?" Saveara pondered the idea, as the druids are strong, and controlling more than 100 thralls would prove too taxing. "Fine," she separated her scythe into her commas. "In blood we forged this pact." Both mages nodded and cut their hands as their palms joined their pact, sealed in the eyes of the mountain god and god of secrets. "We are now allies. Any actions against the other will be seen by the gods as heresy and punishable by the greatest scorn they can bestow," Dyler explained. "Fine," Saveara said as the cut on her hand mended nearly instantly. Dyler looked down at her hand and then at his and noticed his hand mend instantly. "Wow. I didn't know you could regenerate. I have an enhanced body. Now let's plot how we end the orcs."